I'm working on a Geometry Dash fan game called Mania Dash. Originally, my goal was to just recreate GD as close as I could, and this includes creating all the triggers as well. But as my game has expanded way past just being a clone of GD, I've had to upgrade the triggers accordingly with some advanced functionality. In this video, I'm going to show off some of the features I put into Mania Dash's triggers that would be cool to see added in Geometry Dash. I'll note that most of these are probably better suited for platformers since my game is one, but seeing as Super 2 is bringing a platformer to GD, they'll still apply. The first upgrade is to allow toggle triggers to alternate between turning something on or off. So instead of having to use two triggers to disable then enable an object, you can just use one, which will switch between being an on toggle and off toggle each time you use it. This change isn't too helpful in GD's normal mode, since you're likely to pass through triggers only once, but it's definitely good for platform or minigame levels. Additionally, toggle triggers should be able to toggle some objects on and others off at the same time. So my toggle trigger here has inputs for both on targets and off targets. This feature also works well with the previous change, allowing the toggle trigger to cycle between two objects. The spawn trigger's best use is in looping. You do this by having the last spawn trigger in a sequence called the first trigger, creating a cycle. I think looping can be made even easier to just use one trigger. The spawn trigger in Mania Dash can call multiple groups and put delays in between them. Then, just by pressing the loop option, the sequence of triggers are called over and over. For the move trigger, I added Bezier curves to create fully customizable easings. These are useful when the built-in easings just don't give you exactly what you're looking for. You can shape the Bezier curve however you like, meaning you have full control over how an object eases from its initial position to its destination. These curves work for the rotate and scale triggers as well. I've already seen mods with Bezier curve editors, so some of you may actually be getting this in GD relatively soon. I also added two upgrades to the use target option. The first is to set how far in the direction of the target you want the object to move, instead of just moving the object all the way to the target. Inputting a negative value for this will let you move away from the target a certain distance as well. The second upgrade involves a specific scenario when your object is rotating around the target. In GD, the moving object would miss the target because of the added movement from rotating. I made a fix for this by having the trigger continuously update the move direction so the moving object still heads towards the target even while rotating. I really want this added in GD as an option. It makes some effects way easier to pull off. I actually implemented this feature after watching Jazor's most tedious effects in Geometry Dash video, where I thought we shouldn't need this many triggers for such a simple looking effect. If there's one feature I want most from this video, this is it. It's pretty annoying that we can't set an opacity in the pulse trigger. If I want a color or object to temporarily have low or zero opacity, I need to use two color triggers or two alpha triggers, first to set the opacity, then one to change it back. In Mania Dash, the opacity is just another aspect of the color that the pulse trigger can affect. Also, I recently added the same Bezier curve easings as the move trigger, so the way a color pulses can be entirely controlled through these curves and be much more customizable. The simple fade in, hold, and fade out would normally look something like this. But this wacky curve will have the pulse going like this, which would have usually taken multiple pulse triggers to achieve. Okay, I'll admit this one's a bit overkill. I was kind of excited by Bezier curves after I added them to the move trigger and realized they could technically be implemented in any trigger that has a fade time property. So, not that useful, but it's cool, and that's really more important at the end of the day, isn't it? So this isn't actually a trigger in GD right now, but it's one I've wanted for a while. I want a trigger to edit these object HSV properties. These exist so that you can set an object's color without creating a new color channel. Instead, the color is offset from a base color channel. So you could have 4 objects using one color channel, but each with an offset hue, saturation, and brightness, giving each a different look. These values aren't editable right now through triggers, which has been pretty inconvenient for me many times. So it'd be pretty useful to have an HSV trigger for it. And that's it for this video. There are a lot more changes I made, but I thought I'd just go over the major ones. Let me know what ideas you have that you think would improve GD's triggers as well. Also, go play Mania Dash. It's a platformer fangame of Geometry Dash, and I'll go on record saying it's one of the best GD fangames out there. I'm working on update 2.0 right now, so new content is on the way. Anyway, bye for now. I'll see you guys in the comments.